Good morning. So, this morning I want to read from Genesis. I'm going to start in chapter 4, verse 3, and I'm going to read all the way through 16. So, it came about in the course of time that Cain brought an offering to the Lord of the fruit of the ground. Abel, on his part, also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and for his offering, but for Cain and for his offering he had no regard. So Cain became very angry, and his countenance fell. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? And why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, will not your countenance be lifted up? If you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you, but you must master it." Cain told Abel his brother. And it came about when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel your brother?" And he said, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" He said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. Now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you cultivate the ground, it will no longer yield its strength to you. You will be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth." Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is too great to bear. Behold, you have driven me this day from the face of the ground, and from your face I will be hidden, and I will be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth. And whoever finds me will kill me." So the Lord said to him, "Therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance will be taken on him sevenfold." And the Lord appointed a sign for Cain, so that no one finding him would slay him. Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. So, the story of Cain and Abel. About two brothers. One that was murdered by the other. Now, Cain had become a tiller, a farmer. And Abel, a shepherd. And they both gave sacrifices to the Lord. And Abel sacrificed the best of his firstlings and their fat, burnt offering. And God had regard for that. But Cain, he gave offering from the fruits of the ground, but God didn't have regard for that or his offering. There's been a lot of talk, and there's a lot of stuff written out there about why this was. And a lot of theologians believe that a couple of things that why Cain's wasn't regarded was because he didn't do it in the right frame of heart. he didn't pick his best stuff for God. Um, and another theory was that because he didn't pick a blood sacrifice, that it wasn't good enough. Because a lot of theologians think and feel that the very first sacrifice was when God killed animals to clothe Adam and Eve, which symbolizes the covering of sin. That it takes blood to atone for sin. But whatever the reason, because it does not specifically tell us scripturally why, it's all assumption, guesses, whatever you want to call it. The point is, God did not accept Cain's offering. So, Cain, instead of asking for forgiveness and instruction on his offering, and so he can repent and do it and make things right with God. Excuse me. He becomes very angry. He becomes very angry, and it says his countenance fell. Let me look in here, see if it gives another word for continence. I should have looked up that word first to see what a synonym for it was. Sorry, guys. Continence. It's like countenance. COU. Bear with me. Okay, so it just says appearance. So he was no longer happy. You can tell he was no longer happy. I guess you can say he had a hateful look upon his face. And God asked, and God said, when you do well, do you not, does your countenance, does your appearance not look better? So basically I think what God was warning Cain was that if you don't ask for forgiveness and repent, and you allow this anger to build up, that it's going to open the door to sin. It's going to lead to worse things. And that you must be able, to master these feelings of hate and anger, jealousy, whatever. Or it'll consume you, basically. Sin is crouching at the door. And then it says Cain told Abel his brother. So I'm guessing that Cain may have told Abel about how about the conversation that God had with him. So it almost feels like to me that Cain told Abel what God said to him, and as a result, Cain then, of course, killed Abel. So maybe Cain was giving Abel a reason why he was killing him before he actually murdered him. Cain wanted Abel to know. So it kind of feels like to me, in a sense, Cain was trying to put the blame on God as to why he was killing his brother. So, in any case, Cain killed Abel. And God saw this, gave Cain an opportunity to confess and repent again by asking him, where's your brother Abel, and what does Cain do? He just flat out lies to God and tells him he doesn't know, and then mocks God by saying, am I my brother's keeper? Am I supposed to know where he's at all the time? And, and then of course, it says, he said, what have you done? God questions Abel, why did you kill your brother? Of course, obviously God already knows why he killed his brother. But Abel, who was innocent of any wrongdoing at this point, was slayed. And his innocent blood was crying out to God. So as a result, now God curses Cain, tells him that, basically his days of farming and tilling the ground and getting anything out of the ground are gone. And then that he will be a vagrant and a wanderer. He's not going to have a place to live. He's going to be forever, not forever wandering, but for the remainder of his life, he's going to be, going from place to place. He can't farm anymore because nothing's going to come up from the ground for him. So of course Cain, angry as ever with God, starts to protest, saying that his punishment is too great. That his punishment isn't just, despite the fact that he killed his brother. Not only did God take his livelihood away from him, but then Cain makes the decision to tell God, I'm gonna hide from you. I'm gonna leave your presence. And people are gonna, and he said, like, and then paranoia is said, because he says, people are gonna try to kill me now because of what you done to me. Because of what you done to me, people are gonna try to kill me. So here again, Cain is trying to blame God for his own actions. But God, in his mercy, assured Cain that nobody will kill him, because if they do, the Lord will take vengeance on those people for his murder if they do. And then he gave Cain a sign so that everybody would know not to kill him. It doesn't say what this sign is, but he gives him a sign. And I'm kind of feel that this also could be this giving him a sign, pointing a sign to Cain. It could be a prophetic pointing to the sign that Satan gives to those who follow him in the end times, the mark of the beast. I could be wrong. It's just a feeling that I get that Cain's sign is a foreshadowing, is a prophetic view of the mark of the beast that Satan's going to place on people who follow him, or else those who don't have the mark will be slated for persecution, murder, denied rights, food, whatever, whatever. So I don't know. I could be totally off base with that. And then Cain makes the conscious decision to go away from the presence of the Lord, and settle elsewhere. So he made the conscious to walk away from God. He was no longer going to follow the Lord, despite the mercy that God was showing him and assuring him that nobody's going to kill you. He left the Lord anyways. So Cain is a tragic tale of willful disobedience, of jealousy, hatred, anger, unrepentance. Cain was totally and completely about himself and himself alone. And we can't allow our emotions to take over ourselves. We can't allow ourselves to blame God for when things go bad. Even though he does let things bad happen, we cannot blame him for it, because it's not his fault. It all started when Adam and Eve disobeyed God and entered sin into the world. It's because of our broken world and our sinful nature that causes these bad things to happen. But we can't let our emotions get to the best of us to where we willfully sin against God and then willfully lie to God or to others about, hey, no, it wasn't me, even though we did do the deeds. So anyway, sorry. This went extremely long. I know. But I felt the need to share this morning. And with that, I love you guys. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.